It's the final video. If you've watched all of Matt's videos, well done for getting through them. Well done for getting through them. That makes it sound like it's a chore. It's not a chore, but well done for watching all of them. I hope you found them interesting and valuable and learnt as much as I did watching them live on his Twitch. If you did enjoy them, make sure to subscribe to his Twitch at twitch.tv/MattTheLesser, because he will be doing more similar streams in future, I think is the intention. If you're only coming to this video, it's first worth watching parts 1, 2, and 3 of the VODs because they follow some games through in a series. But this final video is a really great finish to it all. It's a debrief stream he did, so he had himself, Simon Bay, Barnwell, and Mellison on microphone, and they all got together and discussed the games on Twitch, which really nicely ties the whole thing together. So this is a great one. A highlight for me, to be honest, was Mellison's accent and his voice. I'm not that good at placing American accents, but is he from? He's from the South, from Memphis maybe, or Texas. He's just got this lovely little drawl going on. He just sounds nice and relaxed and southern. This is probably a really bad impression, but oh well. He made me feel calm and happy when I was listening to his voice. So yeah, watch out for Mellison's lovely accent. And yes, thanks for watching all of these. Enjoy this. See you later, everyone. See you later? See you later, everyone. Not see you later. See you later, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the debrief. Glad for those of you who can make it, who've been following through. As many of you are aware, the last game ended within the last 24 hours. And so I'm here. I've got Mellison and Barnwell on the line so far. And I think Simon might join us in a little bit, and Rafa's going to join us in chat. So we got the whole league here. We're really excited to talk through these games, to hear each other's perspectives on what's happened. Let's start with this one, Barnwell, which was your win. Oh, I just got a chat that they can't hear you guys. That's going to be a problem. Let's figure that out really fast. Oh, try now.
Hello?
Hey, I think that worked. Chat, can you confirm?
Chat.
Yay!
Oh.
All right, we got it.
Sweet.
We got it. All
Nice
right. All right. Thanks, Ghosty. All right, everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We are back on. Welcome back to the debrief. Barnwell and Mellison are here, and we're going to jump in, actually not on this game that you're seeing on the screen right now. We're going to start with this game, which was Barnwell's very nice Fakir's victory. It was the first one of the first games to finish. Barnwell, do you want to talk a little bit about your strategy and your game here?
Yeah, I guess so. It felt really good, I gotta say. I've never played a Fakir's game like that one, so I also haven't played a good Fakir's game in a long time too. So like the combination of those two is like it reminded myself it's like okay, I can play Fakir's, I can do well as Fakir's. No, yeah, it kind of I think you explained it. Like I remember I went back and listened to some of your streams, Matt, after the game, and like I think you described it pretty well. Like it was kind of like the combination of like I want the whole game. Like you can't see the track here, but like there was round 3 and 4 big building rounds, and so like my plan was Fakir's was to like go up in the fire and air cults to get workers from those rewards, but also to build big buildings then, and like try to build the stronghold and like delay my towns for later, so I didn't have to take a like one of those crappy range towns. And yeah, the idea was to get east like ASAP and make sure I can get to what is that G4? It looks like make sure I get to G4 before Alchemist did it because I know they wanted it. That was kind of like the key hex for me. And so like once I got that hex, I knew like I was doing pretty well in distance, and like everything else kind of went together, which was nice. But it was it was really fun. And it was actually like I honestly didn't realize Fakirs were that good here until you bid on them, Matt. And then once you bid, like because there was landscapeless Fakirs, and I kind of just defaulted to assuming they were the 40 faction because they usually are terrible. But then like when you kind of looked like deeper in the I don't know, when you started to read more in the starting situation, you saw that they had like a really good start where they could probably go double temple, get an air spade, and they had like no worries about their territory with no color neighbors. And then with distance scoring, they're also really good on this map if you can get to the east. So like once you bid in them, it kind of caused me to like look into it more, and then I started doing them after that.
I gave it away. I gave it away. That's so funny. I'm pretty sure I was the one who threw Fakirs in here, and I think if I remember correctly, the reason that I did is because neither of the shipping bonus tiles are in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always a big one for me. Whenever I see those setups, I always almost throw in either Fakirs or Dwarves, just because it just helps them so much to actually have the full range of options to choose from.
Yeah, that's another big point. Like there were no bad bonus tiles for Fakirs like throughout the whole game. Like even if I wasn't scoring in past tiles, I was getting coins, I was getting a spade. Like there's always a good bonus tile for me sitting there, which is nice.
Yeah.
But still being able to hold off and not do the range town and save up for the round 6 towns, that was really well orchestrated.
Yeah, and I felt like for that, like I needed to do double econ to start. Like I needed all the economy I can get. Like the stronghold is just so expensive that like I guess I could have done stronghold and not done sanctuary maybe if I took Earth One or something like that, but wouldn't have been as good. Yeah, the way the track was set up, it just made like a lot more sense to try to delay the towns as much as possible. Because like not only do you avoid the range town, but you also get higher scoring towns, which you take from other players. Like a kind of a dynamic there too. But yeah, it doesn't usually work very well, I don't think, to build a pick your stronghold early. But yeah, this worked out nicely.
Yeah.
And Matt, your game was really good too. Like I thought you were winning for a lot of the time. And I'm still just always surprised at how well Swarmlings can do, like even with endgame scoring, even like I guess it was a pretty good Swarmling setup, but it just I don't know. I'm still surprised at how many points he scored here.
Yeah, the track was pretty nice for Swarmlings. I think on the streams I remember I thought everything was going my way really well until you flew over to F2 Nelson, and that was what kind of like really set my game a little bit sideways, because I was fully planning on trying to get down to build a third town in the like H2 to I4 range, but like I really needed F2 to do that, and then I tried to get around you, and you were like, nope, you're not getting around me, I'm taking H2 also, and so it was just fully blocked off. But yeah, I was surprised I ended up with 165 even. That was pretty shocking.
I can't remember the specifics of your start, but you hit the first 2 rounds so hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure F2 ticked you off, because I did that against Bishigo in a recent game, and it ticked him off pretty good. But after Rafa was the Black Hex up there, B5, I was looking for a space for a third town. So that was the secret. I wanted to prove it worked. And then in round 5, I built my last dwelling with the power I was supposed to use to bridge there, which is just an embarrassment.
Okay.
So it would have looked a lot better with that. And then, so in this way, I just cut you off and looked like a dick. So,
well, yeah, I mean, I fully, once you went there, I figured you were going for a third town. I think the little awkward thing about F2 is like you still also need either G1 or to get all the way through the bottom to I4 in order to connect, right? Like F2 and I6 can't connect. So it's a little more of an investment than it might otherwise seem, but good for distance. That I actually thought you were doing it as much for the distance as for the town.
that was it. It definitely helped. And I figured I had the econ as which I think I started. I must have started Air 2. Strongly. So I think I had the juice to get distance and connect and make it all work. Just sloppy play at the end there.
Yeah, well, by staying off of C4 and A10, you really, and G3 too. Like Rafa had to spend so much for these towns.
Yeah, it's rare. You don't see too many witches game on base map where they're not building on those 3 hexes. Like, and Alpha is doing 3 expensive TPs. That's pretty wild.
I mean, and when you look at his score at the end, I mean, he was only 9 points back, and that's 3 expensive TPs right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, totally. Wow, I didn't really think about that. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It isn't ridiculous number of open green hexes, though. Aided by some Barnawall digs, just to be clear. There weren't
Yes.
very many at the start, but
Oh yeah, that was the part we didn't even talk about. Was like you got a little dig bombing fakirs in at the end too. That was fun.
Yeah, the economy just worked out perfectly. Like I knew I was always getting third on network, so I didn't have water one, so there's not really much point in building more structures. So it just like I didn't really plan that out so much, and it just kind of looked at my resources after I made the second town. Like I took a priest town, and I just looked at the resources, and it was just like exactly enough to like take I-12 to like secure distance. I think I don't know, Alchemist might beat me in distance if I didn't do that. I wasn't totally sure. But yeah, and then I had 3 dig bombs, so just like it was like why not? It's the best way to score there.
Oh totally.
And I just obviously flown around, just turning hexes green. There are already so many open hexes. I was like, might as well just make more.
Nice.
I'm curious. In hindsight, do you guys think the auction was before we move on or whatever? Do you think the auction was reasonable? Like, I think it was Witches 28, Swarmlings 33, Fakirs 35, Alchemist 40, or something like that.
It was something like Alchemists were definitely the 40 faction, and Witches were definitely the lowest. I think. I don't know. I mean, it seemed reasonable. It seemed reasonable enough to me at the time. I think I remember thinking that I didn't think Witches were like significantly better than Swarmlings, and I think that's why I ended up kind of bidding towards Swarmlings and not toward Witches, since Witches seem to be lower priced most of the time. But otherwise, I mean, I definitely thought Alchemists were the 40 faction, just because the scoring track was a little rough for them.
Yeah, round
no
6
ship pass tile too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and round 6 towns can always just be kind of such a draw for Witches, but I mean, everybody scores the 5 points off it. So when you're Fakirs and you still get 2 round 6 towns, like if you just work your game plan a little differently, which you did way better. So that's hard. That can be hard to know at the start.
Like once I started to read into it more, I kind of realized that a lot of the leech was kind of like away from Witches. Like I thought there was a good chance. Well, a lot depended on where Swarmlings chose to start. Like where Matt ended up starting, like it was really good for Fakirs and Alchemists in terms of leech. I mean, it was really good for Swarmlings too. But that like I think knowing the starting spots, I thought Witches were a little heavy. But like during the auction, it was hard to really say. Like Swarmlings had a lot of power as to where the leech was going.
Yeah.
I think all in all, it was pretty fair.
Yeah, I remember I was considering H4 as a starting spot, but I think if I remember correctly, both. Like I think I needed to do G6 to guarantee a neighbor, if I remember correctly, like based on the order of where the placements were going. Because like I thought Alchemists were going to go C1, but it wasn't obvious, and I guess Fakirs are always going D3, so maybe that was, a little bit overcautious, but.
Yeah, I think I put my first door on D3.
Oh,
if I remember, because I wanted everyone to go there, so I was just kind of.
Okay.
I mean, I thought it was obvious, anyways. But yeah, I wonder. I mean, if you somehow connected this game, it would have been an incredible game. Like I'm sure you looked at that, but there was so much digging pressure on your hexes. Like everyone advanced dig this game by the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that probably wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, the round I briefly considered it in the round 5 dwelling round, because if I had advanced my ship to 3 and no one took any of the blues, I could have built like A4, E4, I4, H4. Oh wow, those are all 4s. That's fun. I never realized that before. I could have built all of those, and then I only would have just needed like one more hex, like either G3 or dig through the bottom. But the problem is, if any of them got blocked, then like my dwelling round would have fallen apart, and so I ended up just advancing my digging instead.
And I think Raph would have dug one of those hexes, right? Like I imagine he would have had to. Like it would have been pretty clear.
I couldn't imagine it would have allowed me. Anyone would have allowed me to do that, especially as like sandwiched Swarmlings, right? So like it's actually useful for people to do so.
Yeah, I was really worried about him digging I4 or anything in that southwest quadrant there. That's why I dug G1 there too. It was like as a backup plan. But that was just like one hex to block. I mean, Rafa could have blocked any of your 5, and that would have thrown the whole thing off.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I just now noticed that Rafa built all 17 structures in this game.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
I think
I noticed that during the game, but I
didn't
forgot.
notice it.
It had everything.
Yeah. All right.
I've been seeing a lot of Alchemist games like that lately. Like, it didn't used to be that common even with Alchemist, and now it just seems like every game Alchemists are building on everything. It's funny.
Any last comments, or should we move on?
No, I mean, for me, it's going downhill from here, so it's unfortunate. But
Yeah, you're done.
that's my peak in this league.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
All right. All right. Well, Bartle, you can take this one off, or if you, I don't know if you watched it all. This is the game that you were on by. So, for a reminder for you guys and for the viewers, this was on lakes with landscapes, but no fire and ice scoring or factions. Rafa played a really pretty sick dwarves game to pull this out. I got second with Darklings nipping Melis and your Chaos Magicians by a point, which I think I said on one of my earlier streams that like I still don't quite understand how you scored as many points as you did. I mean, like in hindsight, I can look at it and see like you did really well in the Colts and stuff, but I'd love to hear how this game went for you and kind of the thought process, because I remember you like skipped the town round when you could have hit it, and you're kind of hemmed over here on the west. So like I don't know, like what was this game like for you?
Yeah, it would have gone way out of. The town run was a big discussion point, but it would have just taken so much to get it. I think it would have just killed me the rest of the game. Not that I had that much to do. No, I started off as 40, and I mean, I don't play Chaos that much. I'm actually not that good of a Chaos player. But I just figured I was going to try to scrounge as many points as possible, advancing digs. Ships I didn't really do, but between cults and getting enough track and favor points, I was hoping that was enough. But we talked about this, I think, in the game chat. Rafa had an awesome at the very end of round 2.
Yeah.
Bridging over to D3 and being in position to expand east too. That just cut off all the lanes, and I was hoping to be able to escape one way a little cleaner than I did. But he just he hit all the boxes early, which is really nice.
Yeah, it was a really
the 2 key town though. I wasn't really looking for the 2 key town in this game. I think the scoring, like the track scoring, big buildings was round 5 and round 6. So I knew points would be a little hard to come by. So I was fine. I think I ended up getting the 8-point town, and that was, I think in this case, Chaos can always do well enough on the cults. That was fine there.
Yeah, absolutely. I talked through this game pretty heavily for the viewers before, but you know, I think like it was just a weird game for me because just so you guys know, like everything seemed to go how it went. Like I remember stressing over making sure I got D7, which was going to allow me to connect everything here on one ship, which I knew was going to be really valuable. I also needed G6 to round out my southern town. And then after that, it was like I kind of knew I was going to be able to do what I was going to do, and I think I just didn't bank enough points early on. But I mean, I guess I only lost by 3 to a really awesome Dwarves game. But Rafa just kind of was able to do everything through the mid game in a really nice way.
How did Rafa, like I haven't seen this game much, I'm just looking at how did Rafa triple dig a Brown to form that town in the center? Was it cult digs? Did he double dig it?
I think it was single cult dig and then a double dig.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that seems kind of nice.
Yeah. He and I kind of played nice there where I think it was the same round I let him have that in exchange for him not messing with G6.
It really shows like the power of the landscape in that on that center red on whatever E5 I think.
E5, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really shows the power of the dwarves landscape there. It gives him so much more territory to expand to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
I mean,
I'm so used to seeing lakes because of the recent F2O with no landscape, so it just like it seems like quite a difference for dwarves if they can get that in this map.
Yeah, because they can get out to B7 and H7, and then also allows the connection to C4, all of which are like not doable without the landscape. So it's a really big difference for sure.
Yeah, there's so few like one connection dwarf hexes here that opening up even just like 1 or 2 extras makes such a big difference. And connection, because that was his only available connection path after with mermaids taking D6 there.
Yeah,
Nice.
there's just such few there's just like such few hexes like in the middle of the map because all that water like for dwarves. There's just not many places to go without that extra range there.
Yeah, that center
Kinda
lake is
interesting
really
looking at.
awkward in a lot of ways.
Well, I love the tall chaos game, Nelson. Though it's nice to see nice to see how good tall chaos are in this map. Like I've seen so many examples of it, like how solid they are, even when it looks terrible. As I said, I don't actually know what happened in this game, so I don't know the process or whatever. But like I don't know, this just seems like it seems like for chaos in general, like they can just play tall in this map pretty well. Like usually you do in the right side of the map more, but I mean I guess they can work on the left side too.
Yeah, I did skim through your Tuesday League game, the I think the first season, your Chaos game. That was the my attempt at inspiration.
Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like Matt said, you just don't think it would be that good, but then I mean 149. You just look at that. It's all you need to know.
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a close game all around. I mean, Simon didn't take Earth 1 or Water 1, I think, in this game, and was still 9 points off the lead, even with not great calls and not great network.
Hello. I'm a bit late to the party, but I'm here now.
Hey.
Oh, good timing.
Hello.
Good timing.
Yeah.
We're just closing out this game. Any thoughts on mermaids here? It's the Loon Lakes game if you're not looking at it.
Yeah, I think I probably slept a bit on my favorite tiles this game, because I didn't get a scoring favorite tile, or Water one or Earth one, but yeah, I can't remember exactly how that happened. Probably I just was a bit careless.
I realized after the game that's you stole my special move. My when I panic, just play blue, upgrade digs, and don't take any scoring favors. So it's nice to know from all our games together that rubbed off on you a bit.
And Rafa just said in the chat, this game he thought Chaos was closest to win after him in the first couple of rounds, but he thought he was in a good position to actually control your actions, Nelson. So
Yeah.
Rafa had you right where he wanted you the whole game, apparently.
No, absolutely. I really didn't see the bridge line come at the end of round 2. I can't remember the exact situation, but I was either going to try to, I don't know if I would call dig or something to get D3 there, which would open up a bit more in the north, or E5, and he ended up getting both of those. It was a heck of a move.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I remember in this game at the very beginning, Simon, you placed your first opening dwelling on H2, probably trying to be inspired by that F2O game. Were you trying to get me to come follow you down there, or were you just hoping for temp ship?
Yeah, I thought it would be nice to get you there. We could both benefit a bit from it, but it didn't turn out in this game. But I was fine with you not getting there. I thought it was a fine opening for me.
Yeah, I think it's a spot that like I've been thinking about more ever since I saw was it JDI that did it in that game, and like it's a spot that like it's cool if black comes down, but also like it's fine if they don't, especially if G4 is not.
Oh yeah,
sorry,
I
H4
knew
isn't under threat.
I knew that chaos would come eventually, so I could form a town there no matter what. And yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice early expansion also.
Very nice. All right.
Must look tempting as Darklings. Sorry, that must look tempting as Darklings to go there, right? Just having 2 hexes with 1 dig. I guess it's just awkward, and then it's harder to connect. And
the connection is the piece that's really hard for me. I just ended up. I think I started BE4 and G5 because I knew there was going to be enough like activity in the sort of center south there that G5 would be in play, and then by doing that and also taking temp ship and denying Simon the opening on E1 and being able to secure C5 and connection myself, that was kind of my thinking for round 1, which I think went okay. All right, why don't we move on? Simon, now that you're here, this was my buy. This is I skimmed through it a little bit. A really incredible Riverwalkers game in which I haven't really talked about on this stream because I wasn't playing in it, but would love to hear you talk a little bit about how this game got you almost 180 points.
Yeah, it seems like an okay score with edge scoring. I just did basic stuff, not really anything fancy. Just go Earth 1 and place a dwelling first round, I think, or 2. Yeah, I placed 2 to secure some place. I got a priest bonus style, which I thought was good, but I don't think it's that necessary most times with river walkers. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that first round you got D2, which secured your connection right off the bat.
yeah,
Which is
it's
really
also
nice.
no landscape, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I could also connect via like D1, B4, and connect via the land.
Oh yeah, that's right. The connection path we all forgot about.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was part of we talked about it at the end of the game. I didn't think Riverwalkers could do that. Like I didn't realize they actually could connect with 2 adjacent land hexes. Which I mean
Yeah, you
makes
can
total sense
also
that they can.
form towns that way. So yeah.
It makes total sense. Yeah, I don't know why. I just didn't interpret it that way. So like I started like I put a dwelling on C4 at the start, and I was kind of hoping that we could somehow block out Simon's connection. Like if mermaids took D2,
Yeah, I was
and then
thinking
I thought that would be it basically.
to open a gray because I was thinking mermaids would get temp ship first round, but it was a cool Darklings opening with like 4 dwellings
Yeah,
and temp ship.
it's
But
crazy.
that was really good for me also,
It
because
really
yeah,
hurt me. Sorry, go
yeah,
finish, Simon.
because I could just do an easy opening, and yeah, I think with River Walkers, if you just get a temple and a dwelling, you're happy. And then if you have a short round, you can like next round take the coins and just take the coins and sometimes even the workers and have like an easy game with expansion with free dwellings, and if you don't have any coin problems, it's I think river walkers are usually pretty easy to play. The other game and a bit harder, but
Yeah, I mean, it's all about right. Like with the Riverwalkers, if no one slows you down, like you're always going to do well. I think that the key, like that one ship, is the key feature and also the hindrance, right? And like other players, I think really need to be attuned to cutting you off because of that one ability. And otherwise, like yeah, if you kind of get on a roll, it's kind of hard to stop.
Yeah, like late game they have so much flexibility to just unlock whatever color they want to build on. Like once they have space, like when they have space, they're like they have so many options. And like this was also a really good setup for them. I think I put them in this game because it was just because it was a high scoring setup. I think it was round 4 TPs and round 5 dwellings and round 6 towns, like something that an economic faction could hit. Edge scoring, I figured they'd be like decent with an edge scoring, but mermaids are often really good in this map for edge scoring. But yeah, this is kind
yeah,
of like
I
this is a very
thought I
cool
was
example for
gonna
full
be
power.
sorry. I thought I was gonna be third in edge scoring no matter what this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed like a given. I guess Darklings are pretty good at edge and fjords as well. But like, yeah,
Except when they
Raft,
just cut straight through the center.
Yeah, I've never seen that before
yeah,
from Darklings on
Raft
this
scheme was
map.
very cool.
Incredible.
He double dug D3 too in round 6. He took a double dig and dug it with a priest as well to form a triple dig. Like it was, yeah, you don't see a round 6 double dig from Darklings too often. And his weird opening, I was gonna say, it really hurt me. I think more than anyone because I kind of like Simon was saying for his game plan. Like my game plan was also to pass early in round 1 and pass him the 6 coins, and I would have done it before Simon the way everything was happening. And I would have also gotten the first priest to fire. Like I took fire 1. Round 2 was like a big building round with the worker cult rewards from fire. So like my plan was to get a priest to fire and get 2 workers back from that, get 6 coins from the bonus, and kind of like get that to get me rolling. And Raph took that all from me, because he took 3 actions in round 1 and passed with 4 dwellings in the ward. So that I don't know how good my game ever was going to be here. I think I jumped on halflings too early and didn't have a great plan. But like that after that, I knew I was in trouble. Like I didn't have a great backup to that. Just take an Earth 1, yeah, really. Maybe Earth 2 might have been better for me. I don't know. There were a lot of options for halflings, but they're all like okay, but nothing was great. And yeah, I didn't do what I wanted to do.
Cool. All right. Let's keep going. I think we got to talk about. Oh yeah, this one. All right. So, Ice Maiden's game for me versus Riverwalkers, Darklings, and Halflings. So I talked a lot about this one on the stream before, but the basics for you guys were that the opening went basically perfectly. It was like exactly what I envisioned when I was bidding down the Ice Maiden so much, and I thought the landscape was strong, and I now think it's even stronger. Like just getting those spades early for the thing you want to do of like building temples is just so nice as long as you have places to put them, and everything kind of rolled from there. And you guys mostly fought each other, so I'd actually love to hear from you guys about like Bartowal, what were you thinking with like D6 and C4 in the beginning, and Simon, like I thought you might open like not build a temple, and then there was like the fight over D4. Like, what were the decision points in this game for you guys?
Yeah, for me it was right at the start. Early on. I mean, I think I was always taking the priest bonus, but like once Raph took big building, I was never doing sanctuary, so it was obvious to take a priest. And then yeah, I was worried about Riverwalkers taking green hexes early and cutting off my town in the center there, so I took a priest action like right off the bat to kind of I know I'm sure it hurt Simon quite a bit, but just to make sure I was securing territory. And I don't know, there were a lot of things I could have done with round 1 priest. Like I wasn't really sure what the best path was. But I figured like I won later on in round 1. I saw that I was probably landing on temp ship in round 2 if I timed it right. Like I was pretty sure Raph was going to do double temple, and so like once I saw I was going on temp ship, I figured I'd let Simon take whichever of C4 or G6 he preferred. I could take the other one. But yeah, I was playing very aggressively against Riverwalkers at the start for sure. I felt like it was important. I felt like I could lose out on a lot of territory if I was passive against them there. That was kind of my mindset. And after that, it wasn't like my aggression was mainly at the beginning, and at the end, I was just hoping that Matt that you wouldn't dig that black hex, which you didn't, so that was nice.
Oh, H8.
Yeah, that was
H8.
Yeah. Otherwise, I can get the 15 structures.
Yeah, I had
It didn't matter to you ultimately. So
I had just enough workers. I actually at one point mentioned, I think on the stream, like in round 5, of being like, oh, I might have to dig one of Barnwell's hexes here. So it was like on my mind. But then once I did the math and realized that I could get the town in the east without a neighbor, and then I had like literally like just enough to do it, that was when I sort of said, okay, I'm just going to do that and forget the rest of it.
I thought maybe as Darklings you wouldn't go for the bridge down to G6 and just take D7. But yeah, that was a bit risky with Halflings also there.
I kind of wanted to, but I never had great priest production this game. That was like one problem I had was I did a weird strategy where I opened just templed and did a ton of duelings round 2 and did a bunch of trading posts round 3, which was like really good
Yeah,
economic.
but if you don't take G6, I think you have enough priest later to take D7 before Halflings.
I guess that makes sense. I also with G6 I was thinking I might be able to go down to I5 as well through H5, but Matt kind of cut me off there. So that was like kind of a secondary option as well. And it's good for expansion as well to get to the bottom right later. I knew I was a bit crammed. But yeah, no, I didn't really think about that. That's a good point. Might have been better to do that. Yeah, it was always, I think in hindsight, I wish I bid Ice Maidens down more. I didn't realize how good the landscape would be for them. I knew it was a really good Ice Maiden setup, but like it was also, like Matt said, it was so like such a clean game for you. Like you didn't have to fight for anything really. And like, I mean, I guess your Colts got fought a little bit more than you would have thought, but other than that, like everyone else is kind of fighting for everything they need and kind of doing inefficient things, and you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah, the Colts were the one place that didn't work out. I mean, I was a little afraid that Rafa might try to mess with me just because halflings can mess with people in general, but he advanced his digging on the later side, which bought me a little bit of time, and kind of by the time that I that he could have, it was a little it was a little too late. He also mentioned in the chat here that he thinks he should have passed before me for the ship tile in round 5, which was definitely a decision point for me. I was thinking about like, do I need basically, can I pass and still afford everything, and am I risking too much from a territory perspective? And I kind of realized, like, you know what, if I don't get the extra town, it's basically the same number of points as taking the tile. So I just went for it.
Yeah, I was actually kind of curious to hear, because I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought early on that Raph's game looked really good. Like, it looked like he started double temple, got a coins action, but also got a ton of coins from the Earth Cult round too. And I don't know, it just kind of seemed like it was flowing really well. I was surprised he came in last tier. I guess he's in chat. Maybe he can. Yeah, I guess he didn't get the ship tile then. He only got 2 towns and got only 14 structures. The 15th is pretty important. But I don't know. I thought during the game his game looked really good.
It went all downhill when he took d4. But yeah, I didn't think he would take it there. Yeah, I think I was a bit too late to secure it. But when I was thinking about it, I could like 5-power priest and take it at some point. But yeah, I thought he wouldn't take it with a single dick, because he also had e5 to go that round, and he could like go dwelling the TP. It was a TP round, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So I also didn't want. I just wanted to stall a bit and then take the priest action, I think. But I didn't want to take the priest action and afterwards that he takes it after I secured yellow. But yeah, he took it anyway. But yeah, it was probably the best move to beat me, because I think he could have beat me in the last round. I thought he could. In the last round, he could take some of my hexes, but he didn't. And I thought on after then he couldn't beat me anymore, and then he took a hex. So I thought he wouldn't take the hex anymore. But yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty generous for me. I was surprised. I didn't think he was actually gonna do it. I was really impressed with your like landscape and like how well you did this game, Simon. Like I thought you were dead early on. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you had no
I think
chance.
if I could take d4 with just a priest action, I could win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
after Raph took that, I thought you were in
I
big
win
trouble. Yeah.
network, and I have an easier town. Maybe I can get another town. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember thinking pretty early on. I was looking at once Barnwell. Once you took G6, I was thinking, Simon, you were going to have to build a stronghold sanctuary landscape town with like in a bridge with like G5 E2 and then the landscape like just above it. And I was thinking that's like a pretty cool town. But then once you had to use the landscape, elsewhere, obviously it kind of that part fell apart. But you had the space otherwise for another one.
Man, that would have been such a cool town. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't see that.
Yeah, I probably slept a bit on d4, but and I didn't want to do the 5 priest then, but maybe I could have secured it earlier with just a priest action. I'm not sure.
I thought you might also go to, I don't know how much like resources you had to expand, but I think also even B6. I don't know if you could have beaten Raph to that. Maybe not. I can't quite remember the situation. I guess that's also not as good territory for you. But I was wondering, yeah, I thought you were gonna take yellow a lot sooner and like kind of take a bunch of those yellow hexes that Raph
Yeah,
ended up
no,
taking.
he secured that right as I could go there, I think.
Oh, okay.
B6.
Yeah, I remember thinking about the 5-power priest to D4 though, and wondering if you would do it.
I was thinking just take the priest action and secure and take yellow, because I really didn't think that he would take that, because he doesn't really need that, because he can go 3 ship and then go E1.
Right.
And he had E6, so
Yeah,
but
there's
yeah,
so many brown hexes he never expanded to here. I guess he's so much
it was
better.
good to beat me.
Yeah.
It kind of I was wondering if he was going to try to. I don't think I ever gave him the opportunity, but I was wondering if he's going to try to beat me to A2 and A1 and kind of disrupt my towns up there too. Once he got to D4, I was pretty like I was pretty sure I never gave him a chance to get any of those hexes, but yeah, I made me a little nervous too. I'm not gonna lie, Simon, I was hoping you'd beat Rafa D4. I didn't want to see him there.
Oh, I was very happy when Rafa took D4 because I thought by that point that I thought Simon was my biggest threat, and I couldn't really do anything about it. So once that happened, and I knew he would have to split up his network, it was nice on my end.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think Ice Mains are bid down to 17 here.
Yeah,
like,
17.
To 40. Halflings at 40. Like 17 to 167 with no extra endgame scoring. Like, wow, that's nice. They're with their landscape, they're just a good faction.
The landscape,
even
the landscape is
maybe.
really a big thing. Yeah, it's really cool. You just have to get like the one spade basically to put it down. Like I was thinking about it too. I was like, obviously I did it, taking air 2 and a power tile to make sure I got double dig. But you could also, like, if you're in 4th seat, just and there's a spade tile, you could just do it that way too. It's like it's just so nice. So we'll see. Should we talk about the best game of all?
Let's do it.
Let's close. We'll close.
I've got to drop off chat.
Okay.
So I will leave this thrilling game to you all. I'll look forward to listening back to this afterwards, though.
Okay.
What a fun one. But anyways, as Matt here, congrats again, Matt.
Thank you.
That was those were tough games. Those were really tough games. So
all right.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining, man. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yes, we do need a recap of round 6. So let me talk through it really quickly. So to continue sort of where we were from my perspective from the chat, I came in needing one more bridge and hoping to build 4 TPs in the TP round. And my biggest issue was neighbors. And I sort of resigned myself to just building expensive ones on G3 and I9. And I had a leech decision in the middle. I think Barnawall was when you first built the dwelling on D8, trying to figure out. I spent like 20 minutes trying to figure out if I needed that leech or not, because like what town was it going to imply that I took and all that. And I ended up realizing that it didn't enable me to get any higher. And if I got a little bit lucky with some more leech, then I could get the other way. And so I ended up skipping it, but was able to build out that town. And then you came to F2, which gave me another neighbor, which was I ended up not needing it because I did have 2 extra coins at the end, but sort of made the rest of the round a lot easier. And then when you were just a little bit short of getting that extra cluster, that was when I knew, I thought that I had it. But also happened in the last round, Barnwell, you built out your last town. Simon, you built out your last town. Everyone connected up. And that was kind of how it finished out. And not a lot of cult jockeying, because everyone was using their priests to build out their final shipping. Bardo, I'd love to hear your. I know you want to go all the way back to the auction, so maybe let's start there.
Yeah, well, I was just curious to hear what everyone else was thinking in the auction, because I remember at the start of the auction, I was just like, oh, geez. And also, I think eventually I came to the conclusion that Giants had a lot of not like a lot of. I thought, well, I was wrong. First of all, I thought Giants had a lot of power in the situation in terms of where they start. I thought they were always starting with temp ship. And I thought I started to get higher on Giants because I thought that. Well, at first, actually, when I first did on Giants, my first thought was doing a crazy Temple Giants thing and starting Temple and 4 dwellings with temp ship or something like that.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys looked at that at all, too. I don't.
Oh, I did. I definitely did. Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Probably wouldn't have been that good, but it seemed like I looked pretty deep into it. I looked at what my plan for round 2, like up to the end of round 3, kind of, and it looked like it could possibly work, but was really risky. Was how I saw it.
Yeah, it was definitely risky. I mean, I looked at that. I looked at sort of the standard stronghold opening, but the reason I ended up jumping to engineers was I actually just I truly didn't think you would start, or whoever was playing Giants would start on G2. And then you did it. I was like, oh no, like what do I do now? I have like nowhere to go. And so I spent this whole long thing, which I did on stream, trying to decide what power action to take, or even if I wanted to take a power action at the beginning. And I ended up settling on the priest because by denying Mellison a shipping opening, I thought, okay, he'll disrupt your center town at least. And also it prevents the witches from getting a priest to potentially steal G3. Because once G2 was gone, I was like, I have to get G3 or I'm going to be completely screwed.
Yeah, that's so precarious. You like just walk that tightrope. Wow. And the
I
priest
can't believe it
actually
worked.
it worked well. Yeah, like, oh well, it worked. And the priest actually, I didn't expect it. In the auction, I thought engineers were going to take one of the spade actions at least in some way. And so that was why I started double center as giants, because I thought either witches or nomads would get the other spade. And so either if nomads get the spade, I can cut through D5 if I start stronghold and get to my eastern red hex via temp ship there and kind of just do a town round 2, a bridge town on D4 and D6, I guess, through there. And if witches took a spade and nomads got spade starved, then I just do a center town round 2. And I thought both those looked really good for giants. But then once you took a priest, they both got spades, and then I was kind of scrambling. I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing the southern bridge town, which isn't great, which is awkward, and I didn't feel very good in my game at that point. So that was kind of like a big swing. And the priest was really good for you too. I mean, it helped you win Earth Cult. It gave you 2 coins off the bat, a spade later on. And you started double temple, which hit the track well and just good for engineers. And you still got the territory you needed. So it worked out really well for you. I didn't read that in the auction, or starting placements at least.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly I didn't consider it until G2 was gone, because before that I had fully planned on taking one of the spade actions, but like putting one of those spades on G2. But then once like my only place I could actually spade was C5. I mean, the other thing is like I figured witches would probably start on E9, but I didn't think it was like guaranteed. But then once both those went, I just like C5 is just so uninspiring from a spade perspective. I don't know, Simon, did you ever consider not starting on E9?
Yeah, I first would start just on B5, but I thought if I start E9, then you can't take double tick, so I might get it instead of you. And I got it, so I'm not really sure how my game went so poorly actually, but yeah.
I was surprised at the end that like you took the TP towel going into round 6, but then you ended up only with 1 on the board. I guess you decided you wanted to build the temple so you could build the landscape.
Yeah, I noticed that also. Yeah, I forgot I was on the TP tile actually. And first I went like to jump to I11, dig I10, and go a dwelling there, and then make a TP there, to form my town, southern town. But I already made it to TP elsewhere, so I couldn't do that anymore. So
Yeah.
it was hard to make my town, so I had to go fire 2 to make the landscape also. Yeah, I misplayed at the last round, but it didn't matter that much.
Yeah, I was both surprised, but also it was good for you when you got C2 and you were able to get over to A3 and D1. Like, Barnawal, were you ever considering that, or were you always going for the like C4 to A12 line? Like, I didn't see that, and then when you did it, I was like, oh, that was brilliant. But I thought you would take C2 because I also thought the nomads wanted C2.
I was looking at C2, but I thought it was so important for me to try to get my own natural reds. Like I just for clusters and for network. Like I C2 is nothing for me. Is nothing more than a block, really. I guess on Simon more than anything if I took it. And I was looking into blocks throughout the game, but like the problem with higher level games a lot of the time is like if you like everyone's game plan is good, so if you block one person, it doesn't really do too much in the grand scheme of things. It just hurts that one person, and often hurts you. So like once I saw D4, like I was worried Simon might just double dig D4, but he didn't really have the resources for it, I think. So no, I wanted to test those reds, I guess, was my plan.
Yeah. Well, once you took C4 and A12 in the same round, right? Like Simon couldn't even get a town there because he'd already used sanctuary. So like in addition to getting multiple clusters, it like cut him off really well. So it was pretty nice move.
Yeah, I was eyeing that up for a little while. I didn't think I was gonna get it, to be honest. Once I advanced ship, I don't know. It would have sucked if I didn't get it, for sure. It was in hindsight I probably should like I was the most nerve wracking part for me was in round 3. I thought Melson was gonna dig at least one of my reds. He had a
Yeah,
cult dig. He dug A9 for his town, but he was really nice and left me with A6 and E2. If I didn't get those, I would have been completely dead.
I really hoped he would take E3 and somehow let me get E4 later in the game. Because, yeah, I think you wouldn't go to E4 then. And maybe I could beat Melson to it.
It would. I mean, E4 was still my connection, so I might have, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have even been. It probably still would have been worth connecting to beat Matt on network and clusters. So I probably still would have taken E4, but it would have been rough. I wouldn't have gone to talent there. I would have. I don't know what my plan would have been, but it wouldn't have been good. But yeah, I guess that would have been nice hex for you because it does open up the board more.
Yeah, I was thinking like then that round stall a bit and then jump to F2 and take E4 if you didn't take it.
Oh,
That was round
flight.
3, right?
Oh, that would have been fun. Yeah,
Yeah, that would've been
round 3. I kind of figured you were getting it the whole time, Barnwell, because once Mellison made it clear, I think he had the TP scoring tile in that round 3, and it was a TP round, so it was like clear he was just going to build out a bunch of TPs, and therefore like he wasn't going to get E4 because he wasn't building the stronghold.
Yeah, that was round 4 that he had the TP talent doing
round
TP.
4, okay.
But it was more. I guess I wasn't worried about losing E4, but more losing E3 next to it because that cuts off the town there completely. It was like round 3 was kind of the dwelling route. Everyone's expanding.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you theoretically could have connected on like C1 instead.
Oh, like cutting through the north there. I see what you mean. Yeah, but
Yeah.
well, not if I lose out on E3, then probably not.
No. I'm saying if you had gone straight to E3, you could have theoretically gone around.
That's true. It just required a couple more digs like that. Like I said, I'm Giants. I try to like conserve my digs as much as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could have worked this back.
Simon, I gotta ask about the water too in round 1.
Yeah.
We were all, I think, a little bit surprised, but was it just because there were no good cult factions in this game and you just thought you could score a lot of points?
Well, at first I was like, if I just take like Fire 1, you guys could deny me the double spade and I just have to pass. So then I thought maybe I take Water 2 and I get to the 8th step on Water and get 2 Priest and score lots on the cult. And then I thought, yeah, but Engineers will give me the leech, otherwise I have to pass first and take double dig second round. But I still went for it because you could deny me, and I thought it would be good to get a cult, and I could. I think the thing that went wrong is that I didn't get coin sections. I think, and that's also because of other 2 bits because you have longer rounds, and I didn't end up on the right bonus styles. But yeah, I'm a bit surprised that it went that bad for me with double dig first round.
Yeah, I didn't actually think about missing double dig in first. I don't think I remember thinking about that. Like,
I need a lead, so you took the priest, so you could like do the priest on Earth,
yeah, so I could delay and
so everyone could stall around and don't give me leech, and then I just had to pass.
Got it. Interesting.
But yeah, I think it would be bad for engineers because then I just lead double dig second round, and you have dig problems also.
Yeah. Bard, when you passed on to the dwelling tile at the end, when you did in round 5, I at the time was praying that you would have left it one longer, because I had teed up, or in my mind at least, and I don't know if it would have ended up as successful as this one did, but a completely opposite line of like not building my big buildings and just passing, and then upgrading my digging and trying to build out a bunch of TPs and dwellings in round 6. But like once you took that tile, because it was like those coins and the points for the dwellings and the coin action, like once I didn't have all that, like it didn't make sense anymore. But it was like I was so close to making it happen. It would have been fun digging engineers.
That would have been so cool. No, I think when I passed, I think I just had. I thought I was worried about Simon passing. I think it was the one I was looking at who might pass early. I definitely did not think you were passing early there, so that would have caught me very much off guard.
I don't know
That
if
would
it
have been
actually
really,
would have
really
been
cool to
better,
see.
but I would have been excited about it, or I was excited about it.
What you did worked out really well. You got 15 stronghold points of bridges, like
Yeah.
obviously 5 points for hitting the track with it, and the sanctuary 5 for that as well. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, obviously the path you ended up going on was pretty good path.
Yeah, it worked out. I mean, what I realized was that one, I'd like, because I'd started at 40 and done a decent job of banking points throughout the game, that I had a chance to compete without any end game scoring. And then once I realized that I wasn't going to be going for end game scoring, it was like, well, I don't need any spades. I don't have to invest in that. And TPs, even without Water 1, TPs are just so efficient in terms of points for engineers, even expensive ones. So like, it was kind of like, let's just, once you're not going for clusters, you might as well build all the bridges, and just kind of lean all the way in. And it was just enough.
Did you think you were winning like during the game? Did
No.
you have a read on? No, you didn't.
No,
Who do you think?
definitely not.
Do you think
I thought
Mellison
Mellison was winning for a while. I think I started to question whether or not he was going to have enough juice once I realized he was only going to get one town. And I realized why he did that, because like if he went for another one, he wouldn't have won clusters. But like that trade off kind of put a bit
I
of a
think
ceiling.
if he digs E3 and makes it down there, he can still win the clusters, and he wins also the how it's called, the just regular network.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely would have a shot. Well, I might have gone really heavy in the clusters if he did that because my town's gone. But I thought he was gonna do second town there for sure as well. It's kind of an awkward. I was thinking about this. It's kind of cluster scoring. It can be really awkward. The combination of clusters and trying to and like I think someone in the chat mentioned like town factions or factions that like towns, like stronghold nomads.
Yeah.
Like versus clusters. Like it's a really weird, and witches versus clusters too is not a good example. It's a really weird kind of. And giants, for that matter. I think giants like towns too. Engineers like bridges. That's awkward.
Yeah, it's like all of
these
these factions
actually
have weird relationships with it. Yeah.
You kind of go for one or the other. It's a bit hard. Like my plan here was to go for 2 towns and as many clusters as possible, which I guess is probably a good middle ground. But it's hard sometimes to do both. And like you kind of this game, I think, is a good example of that. Like you really see the challenges.
Yeah.
And it kind of made the factions that we all thought we were like way better, like nomads and witches, like not quite as good as they appeared at first glance. I think in hindsight.
I mean, honestly, the only reason I thought nomads and witches were better was because they weren't sandwiched.
That makes sense.
Like I thought nomads were the best because, like, well, they're not sandwiched, and the giants don't have any preference for yellows over any other color, and so like they theoretically should have the most territory. And I mean, I guess that like they were, the gap that I beat them by was less than the bidding, so it's not like it was wrong for them to be bid down. Maybe we just were a little bit aggressive. I mean, sandwich engineers are like scary, but if you can get a couple key hexes early on, like you can be okay. And once I figured out that like I was going to be able to get over to like G1 and F1, it was just enough territory. It's funny in hindsight to think that actually Water 1, even like back in round 1, would have ended up scoring me more points because I ended up building so few dwellings. But
oh wow, yeah, I didn't realize that.
But Earth 1, I mean, Earth 1 at least like, you know, kept it away from you, and I guess there were Earth rewards, so not all lost.
Yeah, I kind of like in my game, if I were to do it again in hindsight, I probably would have taken Earth 1. I just, in round 3, I was so paranoid of Mellison taking my hexes, and I held my nerve for so long, and then eventually I just cracked, and I just said, I can't take Earth 1, I need to secure my hexes. But like I think in hindsight, I probably could have taken Earth 1 before building out, but I think that would have also, like, I took Water 1 kind of as a, hopefully to block you, Matt, which worked out pretty well.
That did work, yeah, I did not, yeah, I did miss it, so.
But like, I mean, ultimately, yeah, I mean, you took water too, which I think worked out pretty well because it gave you cult rewards, it gave you power, which you use at cult VP. I mean, I guess you probably would have preferred water one, but it wasn't that big of a deal in the end. But yeah, I think if I took Earth one, I would have had 3 more points in by the end, so it actually wouldn't have been that big of a difference.
Yeah, once I mean, I didn't take that water 2 until round 5, and once I did, it was pretty clear that it was going to be worth 4 points on water plus some number of points on air plus potentially an extra worker, and so like it ended up working out okay, but water one still would have been better, I think, because I did build 4 TPs in round. Like whatever cool points I got wouldn't have beat 12 points on TPs, but not so bad.
Right. You might have not been able to do one more TP. I was pretty generous giving you leech in the last round because honestly I thought you were beating me no matter what. I didn't think it mattered, so I was kind of fighting for second. But I might have, well, no, you probably would have been ahead anyways. It wouldn't have mattered because you got some extra power from water too. But no, I probably wouldn't have made a difference. Probably still gone from 4 TPs up.
Whew.
Yeah, this and the auction. There's a couple times my brain just hurt in this one.
This game,
really, I think
this
it's in
game
the
was
chat. It
just
just
like,
hurt.
yeah. Well, as you said, the clusters is so complicated because they're like, it's so hard to weigh these things against each other, and decisions you're making early in the game about are you going for towns, are you going for all this? Like, there's just so many different factors, but super fun one though in the end. I mean, I like the hard decisions. I think it's what makes the game interesting.
I do if I have energy and I'm not tired. I like the hard decisions. If I'm tired or hungry or whatever, it just like just get nowhere.
Yeah.
Can't think at all.
Well, actually, there were definitely a few times. I mean, I don't think I know I was one of the slowest ones, and sometimes I was waiting so I could get stream content. But there were a couple times where I would like pull up the game and I'm like, I just don't have the brain power to like think about this right now. So
Yeah,
that was a couple of the delays.
I'm not really a good turn-based player. I just my game comes up and I just play a move.
I noticed that you and Raph were so fast, especially with Raph. There was a couple times I'd play a move and I'd look at the board after for like 30 seconds to see what things look like, and then Raph's already played his move like right after that.
I know.
I'm just like, how do you do
always, that? Always on top of it. Well, this was great. Thanks for jumping on, guys. Thanks for joining in chat, Rafa, and to Mellison, who was here earlier. Thanks to everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed the season. I'm gonna wrap this one up for now, but I think we were talking about doing a follow-up set of games. You guys in?
Yeah, sure. And
I don't know if I can do them now. I want to do them at some point.
Okay.
But I got a busy stretch coming at the end of March and April, so I probably shouldn't do it now.
All right. Well,
I could do it like after near the end of April at some point. But if you guys want to play with someone else, go ahead. Too.
We'll talk about it and find a couple games, and we'll keep the stream-based content train rolling. And someone else is winning Fjords League, not me. So I've had some terrible games. So maybe Bar, maybe it's you. But anyways,
I can't tell yet.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Thanks again, guys. And see you all next time.